Hello and welcome to Wingin It. So I've got some more gameplay here, and you'll see from the starting hand that I've got, it's going to be an interesting game. So originally I wasn't planning on recording this game, but after I picked the starting hand, anything can happen with the Killdeer Raven combo. So yeah, thought it would be worthwhile hitting record, and yeah, I'm glad I did considering how this game turned out. So it's always an interesting start when you have even just one of these two birds, let alone both, particularly with the house rules that we use on the tournament's Discord. So that means that neither of these two powerful birds can be played in the first round. And that's quite tricky because it means you have to spend the rest of that first round doing something. And luckily for me, I did have the Forster's turn, so that meant I could at least play that and try and start drawing a few birds. It always is a bit slow, if you don't have something like that and you're just getting one bird a turn or one food a turn, and you're kind of just biding your time and really waiting until you get to that second round before you can start playing these birds and using the strong powers and being able to start building up an engine. But the turn, really a good starting bird, is going to work with all the end of round goals as well. So that's a pretty good start, I think, for me to have. And you'll see as well, I have the Rodentologist bonus card, and if you've read the title of this video, you'll have some idea of where this is going. And also considering all the birds that I'm picking up that are fitting this bonus card, it felt pretty nice. I think Rodentologist, most people would agree it's one of the strongest bonus cards in the game. Just getting 2 points for each rodent bird and not having a cap on that. In theory, you can get as many points as you want with this bonus card. So yeah, really strong bonus card. So definitely happy to have that, and particularly with the Raven as well. So you see this turn I draw the Phoebe, which again, really strong bird. Again, it's going to work with lots of these end of round goals, but in particular, it's a really good way of spending this first round actually doing something. So I know, okay, I've picked up this Phoebe, I've got 4 turns left. That's 1 turn to get the food, the second turn to play it, and then 2 turns activating. That's going to give me eggs to help with this end of round goal, but also the worms from the Phoebe are going to allow me to play the Raven straight away in that second round. And that is so important. Like I mentioned earlier, so many times with a Raven in round 1, you find that you're just gaining 1 food a turn from the bird feeder, and it is really, really slow. But having something like the Phoebe, obviously is going to help my opponent in a little bit just by giving them that extra food as well, but it's really going to help me just with that tempo, and it's going to help get the Raven down just that little bit sooner. You'll see as well, I did take the Bold Eagle. That was just kind of planning ahead. When you have something like the Killdeer, you know that you don't need to play these brown power birds in your wetlands, and you can save those spaces for big point birds like the Eagle. And again, it fits the Rodentologist, so another 2 points. And yeah, with the Raven, getting the food for that's not going to be a problem at all. So kind of good to pick that bird up when you get the chance, when you do see it. There's no reason really, I think, to leave that in the tray, particularly the rest of this round. As I was saying, it's pretty straightforward. Get the food for the Phoebe, get it down and lay eggs, and then I can just be good to go. I can get the Raven and the Killdeer down super quickly in that second round, and yeah, then I'm pretty much good to go. So really, like I said, not too much to think about in this first round at least. I think as soon as I got that Phoebe, it was pretty straightforward what I needed to do. It's going to help with this first end of round goal in particular, but also those other two. So even if I'm going to be skipping the power, once I've got that Raven down, I think that's going to sort me for food. And yeah, I don't really want to be giving too much free food to my opponent throughout the game. But yeah, that Phoebe is going to help with this early game tempo, and that's the real strength. But it's also going to come in handy, I think, for those last 2 end of round goals with that star nest, and potentially any more bonus cards that I pick up. So we'll just skip ahead here to the end of this first round because, like I said, pretty straightforward. I'm just laying eggs, getting the food from the Phoebe. So my opponent in the end only had 2 eggs in the bowl nest, so being able to have that Phoebe and lay eggs a couple of times just helped me win that first end of round goal, which was so nice. But yeah, here we go into round 2, and Raven down straight away, no messing about. And yeah, like I said, really the priority is to just try and get, obviously, the killdeer down and then see what I get. You know, I think when you do have these two birds, you need something to pair with it that's going to score points, because obviously at the moment, once I do get that killdeer down, I might be laying 3 eggs, but I'm using 2 of them. So I'm only actually getting 1 point a turn. And so it's not a huge point scoring engine. And particularly when my opponent plays a bird like the cowbird, I need to think carefully about being able to score points while I'm taking this lay eggs action. Because at the moment, you know, I'm getting a point, but they're getting a point. So if I can get something like a bush tit or sandhill crane type birds where I can turn either excess cards or excess food into points, that's really what I'm going to be looking for. But yeah, having a bird like the killdeer just gives you so many more opportunities to find these strong birds. You're looking at 2 cards every turn, just really, really strong. So yeah, obviously the priority is just to get that down and start digging through the deck. And here we go, this is the turn that I do get the killdeer down. And yeah, definitely looking forward to be able to activate that on my next turn. So time to use the killdeer, and like I said, really just kind of hoping for some good birds. Do go for the warbler just in the tray. I think any of these kind of bonus card giving birds, I know that with this kind of engine I'm running, it's all going to be about the birds I play. So like I mentioned, if I can get some points while I am activating this engine, that's always nice. But really the priority is try and get big point birds down, or birds that are going to give you bonus cards. And I think the warbler is a pretty good example of that. So obviously 2 food for 4 points and a bonus card, and knowing the amount of birds I'm going to be playing, particularly if I've already got 2 star nests down, if I'm going to be playing a lot of birds in the wetlands and in the forest that are going to hopefully meet some bonus cards that I can pick up, that's just going to give me so many more points. And yeah, I think when you know that you're going to be playing a lot of birds, that risk on a bonus card is always lower, and it feels like you're more likely to score some good points from it. So on this turn, I decide to go for the Roadrunner. Partly just, get that 4th grassland bird down, always nice, get the extra egg. Obviously, there's a chance of getting some points from the power, although as I've talked about in the past in other videos, it's not the strongest power. But I think early enough in the game where you're giving yourself time to activate it enough, you can expect a few points. But yeah, obviously the main reason really to play this is for the extra points from the rodentologist bonus card. So yeah, I don't worry too much about getting points from the power. As long as I can get those 2 points from the rodentologist, that's nice. You see there on that turn I pick up the Mississippi kite as well. So this is kind of the point in the game where I start thinking, how many rodent birds can I get down? Obviously with the Roadrunner, that's my second one, and then I've got the spotted owl and the bald eagle that I was already going to be playing. So that's 4 rodent birds. The kite would be a 5th. And I'm already thinking at this point, I've got my eye on trying to challenge for this record. So we do on the tournament's Discord have a records page, which basically tracks a number of records. So for kind of the big bonus cards, obviously high score, things like most number of bird points, most number of tuck cards, that sort of thing. And the current record for rodentologist before this game was 16 points. So that's 8 birds played. So knowing that I already had 2 down, and now obviously haven't played the bald eagle as well for 3, and 2 more in my hand, I only need to find 3 more. And that red-tailed hawk and the tray, I did have my eye on that. Unfortunately, my opponent took that, so I think they probably had an eye on the next end of round goal. But really, I'm just kind of hopefully trying to get some more rodent birds. That common raven in the tray would have been nice. Obviously, I don't need it for the engine, but it still would have been a nice play. But obviously, my opponent's going to be taking that. Kind of fits well, I think, with the grasslands they've already got, with the robin, the tucking bird there. So, yeah, a little bit late, potentially for a raven. Round 3 kind of always feels like on the edge of the acceptable time to play it, but absolutely they're going to be picking that up anyway. But yeah, like I was talking about before, with the killdeer, you just give yourself so many more chances to find these kind of birds you're looking for. And in this case, I'm looking for rodent birds, so just being able to see a couple of cards every time that I'm activating that grasslands, while also getting the food to hopefully play some of these birds. Yeah, just such a strong position to have. And yeah, unsurprisingly, as I said, my opponent does take the common raven, but really, you know, I can still just try and gamble from the deck, and yeah, hopefully get some rodent birds. So do go for the casted sparrow here, just, you know, as that option, I guess, of playing it in the grasslands and getting the extra eggs. Unfortunately, if I'd gone from the deck, I would have got the bittern, which obviously would be a really nice bird for me to look to play if I'm going to try and go for these rodent birds. So yeah, kind of just hoping that my opponent is going to play the raven here and not pick up that bittern. But yeah, you know, there's plenty of other big rodent birds, so you know, things like woodstock, the great egret, obviously good examples of ones in the wetlands. So yeah, this turn for me was all about deciding between the sparrow and the kite, and I was kind of thinking, okay, do I commit and go for this rodentologist record? Because ordinarily I would say cast and sparrow is the better play here. Obviously it costs more food and it's going to be worth fewer points, but with enough turns left, I know that I'm going to get enough eggs to make up for that. And obviously the kite here, it does help for the end of round goal, but I've already got so many platform nests down that that's almost a non-factor. But yeah, you'll see I do go for the kite, and this was the point where I sort of fully committed to trying to go for this rodentologist record. And yeah, you know, now I've got 4 birds down. I know I've got the spotted owl in my hand. I'm really hoping that I can pick up that bittern. That's going to get me to 6. But if I'm going to at least tie the record, I need to get a couple more. And yeah, there's still enough time, but time is starting to run out. And, you know, I do start to worry, okay, yeah, you know, I'm going to keep gambling from the deck, but I'm going to need Lady Luck to be on my side at least a little bit if I'm going to be able to get some more rodent birds. So on my next turn now, and fortunately, my opponent did not take the American bittern. So I know that with at least one of the cards that I'm going to be gaining with the killdeer, I can look at picking that up. So also potentially got my eye on that warbler in the tray, even if I'm not going to play it, because like I said, I want to be spending as many turns playing rodent birds as possible. It's still a nice card for my opponent. So yeah, I think in those kind of positions where you can afford to make that denial, I think it's worthwhile doing. You know, warbler's so easy to play with the raven, big points at the end of the game. That's always a nice position to be in. I think particularly where your grasslands isn't scoring you a lot of points, you know, particularly mine and my opponents kind of both fall into that category. You want to have these kind of big point birds that you're going to be playing late in the game instead of laying eggs, and that's really where your points are going to come from. So on this turn, I go for the double play in the forest. So Vireo, obviously nice with the double bird power, lets me get the spotted owl down, and it's a pretty good draw on the bonus card, large bird specialist. Ordinarily not a great bonus card, however it does pair really well with the rodentologist. So this is another thing I looked at a bit in one of my videos where I talked about bonus cards and bonus card pairings. Rodentologist and falconer traditionally is the best pairing, but large bird specialist goes particularly well with both of those. You know, you look at these birds I've got down, the spotted owl, the raven, the eagle and the kite, as well as the bittern in my hand, they all meet both of those bonus cards. And yeah, if you can pair bonus cards in this way, where you minimize the number of birds you have to play in order to meet both of them, it just scores you so many more points, because you have to play fewer birds, or you know, the more birds you play, the more points you're going to score from these bonus cards. So yeah, always a nice pickup there, and pretty much guaranteed 6 points in this scenario at least. Alright, so just skip forward a couple of turns here. Unsurprisingly laying eggs, so yeah, really just trying to get as many eggs down on the platform nests as I can, and hopefully get some good birds. And we do indeed get some good birds. So there's the great egret that I was talking about before. Obviously the puffin, really nice, 8 points, star nest, gives you another bonus card, and the fish is so easy to get hold of with the raven as well. So yeah, I will have to think a little bit about whether I do want to play that if the rodentologist record is in sight. Now obviously there's that broadwing hawk in the tray, which would, in theory, be my 8th rodent bird. So I've got 5 down at the moment. I've got the bittern and the egret, which I could potentially do as a double play to get to 7. And then obviously that hawk in the tray would be the 8th. So yeah, going for one from the deck, see if I can get something better. But yeah, I think the hawk, I know I've still got enough time to play it. I've still got enough turns to gain the food that I need to play all of these rodent birds in my hand. And, you know, actually, the hawk, it might seem like a really weird play. Putting the rodentologist record to a side for a moment, you know, playing a 4-point bird in the final round is, yeah, never ideal. But actually, again, coming back to the engine that I've got built up, it's not really a huge point-scoring engine. So actually, if I can, you know, play a bird, in this case, it's going to be 4 points base, plus 2 for the rodentologist, minus 1 egg is 5 points. Now, my engine is not going to reliably score me 5 points. I can obviously get 5 eggs, and then really it's a chance on the 2 hunting powers. And, you know, I might not have egg space for that either. You can see I'm already starting to fill up. I've already got 15 out of 19 spaces, so doing this double play in the wetlands as I do now obviously will free up a little bit, but really it's not going to leave me enough space to be able to lay eggs 3 times. You know, I'm definitely going to run out if I try laying eggs 3 times. So yeah, really, I think the rational play, if you were going for maximum score, would be the puffin. Obviously that's big points. You give yourself another bonus card, which, as I talked about before, when you've got this number of birds down, this number of star nests down, you know, there's so many bonus cards that you could pick up that are gonna, yeah, score you lots of points. But, you know, when I'm 1 rodent bird away from getting a tie on the record, then my mind only goes on one thing. And yeah, really, I've not had to think too much about maximizing my score. You know, absolutely no disrespect to my opponent. They played a really good game here, as you will see when we do get to the final scores. But yeah, I think whenever you start with Raven Killdeer in your starting hand and are able to play big point birds like this and get really nice bonus cards like the rodentologist and another one to pair well with it in the large bird specialist, really when my mind doesn't have to worry too much about getting the win, I can think more about other things, and in this case it's all about trying to get the tie on this record. So we come to the penultimate turn here, and you'll see I've got 2 food left, so obviously one of those is going to get discarded. That's going to give me the extra egg, and yeah, you'll see the unreliability of those hunting powers there, unfortunately doing me no favours. But yeah, you'll kind of see from this that I'm going to be left with 4 egg spaces, and yeah, laying eggs for 4 points versus playing a bird here for a guaranteed 5. I think you can justify playing the hawk. Now, like I said before, the puffin is going to be the rational play, but yeah, if I can tie this record as well as get the win, then I'm going to be happy with this game. So last turn here, and yeah, absolutely no surprises what's going to go down here. There goes the broad-winged hawk, and that's the 8th rodentologist bird. And yeah, that was a good feeling. There are some other nice rodent birds I could have picked up, you know, potentially that red-tailed hawk that my opponent took from the tray. That would have made a good 9th rodent bird, but hey, I mean, getting 8 is difficult enough in itself, so I still felt happy with this achievement. So we go into the scores here, and yeah, like I said, probably not too many surprises in terms of the result here. Obviously lots of bird points just from those big point birds I managed to play. But look at those bonus card points. 22 bonus card points from 2 bonus cards is a little bit ridiculous. And yeah, performed strongly in the end of round goals. Got a decent number of eggs, and then yeah, the cached food and the tuck cards from those hunting powers, always a disappointment. But there we go, 123 points to 100. And like I said, absolutely no disrespect to my opponent here. They played a really good game. Obviously the Raven, even in round 3, was very helpful for them. And that cowbird, getting that early was really good. But yeah, they played such a strong game, and I was surprised by the magnitude of the point difference there. But I think it just all comes down to that rodentologist, and yeah, when you're scoring 16 points from a single bonus card, that's always going to be so hard to compete with. So I hope you enjoyed that video, and let me know in the comments, what's your high score with the rodentologist card. Certainly I think 16 points is a strong total, but absolutely is beatable. And yeah, if I get the chance to go for this again in future, I definitely will. But thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.